Morning crew, welcome back to the Andy Mechanic Workshop live stream Sunday morning, 8:30 a.m. here in rainy New Zealand. Now, let's see who we've got on the channel already. Just give me a second to refresh. Let me know what the audio is like and the visual and stuff, as you always do. It's always handy to know just how good the internet is today, because it's not always great where we are. Right, scroll down. Come on, YouTube, you can do it. We've got the Wheel of Death. We have. Who have we got? Nope, they've disappeared again. Right. It's all right. Good start to the live stream. Here we go. Boom. Come on. Very slow internet on the phone today. Bum, 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 bum. Oh, come on. That's woefully bad. Can we click on from there? We can. There we go. Right. Let's see how many millions of viewers we've got this morning. Oh man, that's slow. That is really slow. Go on, do a comment and I can see it on this phone. Go on, you can do it. Do me a comment. Who we got? The Jane Governor. Good evening, Andy and family. How is everyone doing watching from cold South Africa? Well, good morning, Vijayans. Welcome back. Oh, here we go. We're slowly getting there. I managed to get one comment in. Mike Bazansky. Good morning, Andy and crew. I wasn't sure if today was going to be a live stream or not. Hang on. If today was a go or not. Yeah. Still on holiday. Couldn't help myself. Hey, we're in 2023. What the hell? You know, we're going to have to get into some kind of a routine, but I just wanted to talk to my mates. So here we are, live stream. Roger Heaps. Good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Roger. Welcome back to the workshop. So, Roger. Invercargill. I have been planning my tentatively my schedule. I've got some really key dates that I've got to accommodate and work around for other stuff, and it looks like I'm not going to make it to the South Island until I set off about the 1st of February, 1st, 2nd of February, I think it is. I'm going from memory now. I did change things. Anyway, I'll be in the South Island. Actually, no, that's wrong. I changed it again. So I've got to be on site in Auckland on the 16th of February. So I think it's immediately after that. I then leave for the South Island. So I'll be in the South Island at the back end of February, early March. I'll let you know the dates that I'll be in Invercargill. I'll be there for probably 3 nights. So plenty of time to catch up. Anyway, enough of the private conversations. Right, hang on. Let me just make sure I've got all the comments. Yes, I have. Kill switch. Oh, come on. Why am I getting adverts on my text? Top chat up. Seriously, what is going on? Kill switch. Well, hello, guys and dolls. Oh, this is just getting stupid. Come on, YouTube. I got an advert where the text should be, the comments. Well, hello, guys and dolls. How are we all doing? Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year to you too, Kill Switch BB. Workshop's doing very well. We've been extremely busy the last few days. I deliberately put off starting doing this kit, these kits, another batch. You know exactly what I'm talking about. There's no need to show you until sort of after the Christmas period. No, traditionally, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, whatever it is, I'm always in the workshop doing stuff. Certainly last year, preparing for the DR200 Ultimate Farm Special trip, I was in the workshop every possible hour. I had a lot to do. This Christmas, I wanted to make it a little bit different, Mrs. Mechanic, actually have a bit of time to ourselves. So I put off starting doing those kits. We had all the drilling to do, I had all the countersinks to do, then Mrs. Mechanic had all the sandblasting to do, and then we had to paint everything. And the plan was to get them up to Auckland this coming week. However, I now have to go to Palmerston North on an urgent mission that can't be avoided, that has to be done. So that had to come first. and I'll be going up to Auckland the following week, which has given us a bit more time now to finish off. Mrs. Mechanic to get everything packed. We can get it onto a pallet, wrapped up, and put it back of the ute. So pressure's off, which is nice. We can pack them up next weekend, which is brilliant. She'll get everything done during the week, all the little bits packed up and things, and then we can get it all sorted. Anyway, so there you go. We went off on a tangent as always. Malcolm Casson, that's a new name. Where are the Tool Girls? Well, Jade is in Wellington. Hannah is Gold Coast, Australia. Lily is Auckland. Holly is Auckland. Sam is Whangarei, I believe, or possibly Auckland. She seems to flip between the two. Don't know why. Sarah is Australia. Harley, Auckland. Geez, who else have I missed out? I'm sure I've missed a few out there. But yeah, they're all around. However, the biggest problem, and I'll be completely honest about this, about 3 years ago, I moved the workshop down to my property, where, a house that I purchased many, many years ago that I hadn't lived in. We just rented it out. And Auckland rental prices were going through the roof because I was only renting up there. I could only afford one house, come on. And my children basically all left home. They'd all grown up and done their own thing. And we sort of reevaluated and thought, you know what? We don't need to be in Auckland anymore. With my job, with my employer, obviously, I didn't have to be located in Auckland. And it made a lot more sense to basically move down to our own property and save a lot of money. Now, by having the workshop here, which is a fantastic workshop, it's the best workshop I've ever managed to set up, and it's all mine. It belongs to me, my workshop, and it's always going to be here, which meant that any sort of stuff that I put in it and changes and things, were permanent. I could do a good job rather than setting up basically what was a two-car garage that I was going to be there for 2 or 3 years and then move on. It was a pain, a real pain. You just about get everything set up properly how you want it, and then you've got to pack it all up and move somewhere else, and it doesn't work. So anyway, we did that. However, we're about 3.5 to 4 hours from Auckland, where the majority of the Tool Girls reside, and the logistics has proved in reality to be an absolute pain in the ass. And hence why there really haven't been any videos with the Tool Girls for the last 12 months. I think Holly was the last to come down and give me a hand for a couple of days, which was great. I think we did some DR200 stuff before the trip. But trying to organise it now is extremely difficult and extremely expensive, to be honest, as well. So you have to bear with me. I did have a plan in the wings to have a second workshop in Auckland for Holly. It hasn't really worked out, to be honest. We're going to review that. We are. Anyway, there you go. Bit of an update. But I mean, there's over 100 videos of Tool Girls on the channel helping me out doing various bits and pieces in the workshop. So there's lots to look at, It's pretty sure you've not watched all of them. And there's some good ones. Some really good ones. Absolutely. There's some really good editing and camera angles and things. So you should check them out. Anyway. So there you go, Malcolm. Hopefully that's answered your question. Mike Adams, hi y'all. Give it time, Andy. Internet is cold. Cold-natured, like an old Ford. Yes. My internet's actually pretty good now. The picture's pretty good, so we're okay. Gary Powell, good evening and Happy New Year. We've got a flag, which is quite dark. I'm not sure what that is. And a very smiley face with love hearts. Thank you, Gary. Simon Rawl, morning Andy and crew. Hit the like. Thank you, Simon. Much appreciated. Cigarette's gone out. Sorry, too much talking. But Mike Adams, I stepped on the button on the way in, Simon. Hey, top bloke. Daz323323. You should start some sort of chat group for the channel subscribers, Facebook, Discord, etc. That'd be a good idea. I'll try and remember to do that. Connor K. Morning, Connor. Morning, Andy and crew. Sorry I missed the live stream last week. Hey, don't worry, matey. New Year's Eve, beer was involved. You understand? I absolutely do. I really wasn't expecting very many viewers at all for last week's live stream. In actual fact, we got quite a few. I was pleasantly surprised. So, Connor, from me to you, Happy New Year. Top bloke is Connor, really is. As are many of the viewers that join on the live streams. Mike Adams, any possibilities there could be some new Tool Girl candidates where you're stationed now? Possibly. That was one of the things that we considered. However, the population down here is pretty sparse. And there aren't, see, traditionally, I would use what we call a talent website to find tool girls because, you know, they're looking to exposure, looking to get exposure, to get on the internet, to do modeling, to do some filming, just to start their career off. And of course, the majority of those girls live in Auckland. That's where the majority of people in New Zealand live, is in Auckland. Down here in Taupo, it's a bit thin on the ground. You know, maybe I can explore that avenue again, but there aren't any sort of websites or recruitment or agencies, talent agencies in Taupo or this surrounding area. Maybe Hamilton, but even then, that's an hour and a half away. So you're going to have to just leave it with me. It's something which has been brewing in the back of my mind for a while. You know, I don't quite know how things are going to go. So bear with me. I am waiting actually from a video from Holly that she was going to do in a workshop. Holly, get the video done. She hasn't done it yet, which is a bit upsetting, to be honest. Anyway, I'll have a chat. Jim Haynes, Hannah gets a new shirt is a good one. It is. That one was quite bizarre, actually. It was a last minute kind of video. I think it was towards the end of the day. We'd been filming all day, and it was all done in one take. No messing around. It was straight off the cuff, and it worked brilliantly. And it just went, I wouldn't say it went viral. It didn't quite go viral. Man, it was popular. It was really, really popular. So no, excellent little video and a lot of fun to make as well, to be fair. Connor's there going, yes, Andy, it would have been fantastic fun. I wish I'd been a fly on the wall in the workshop. I bet you do. Right. Stuart Martindale, good name. Greeting, Andy. Great to catch your show. Can't get enough of the Tool Girls. Big thumbs up. Just qualifying an IPA called Proper Job 5.5. Just right with my tea. Nice. Oh, just quaffing. Very nice. Sounds good, does that? Proper Job. That sounds very English. Gary Powell. No, it's Jerry and it's Scottish flag. Oh, it doesn't come out as a Scottish flag at this end. It's quite dark. It's like grayscale. Anyway, I don't know why that is. Maybe Facebook, internet's decided to block it off. Jeffrey Boyle. One of those, and a spanner, top bloke. You'll have to put up with some side cutters. More on these later. We're going to be using those. Simon, hey, better start on a caliper pin holder, more suited to the use in the lathe. What a nice chap. The eye one was meant for a drill. Yes, I did destroy it. Sorry, mate. Also got you a tap so you can make your own. Holy crap. Simon, you don't have to do all this, but I'm humbled. You do help me out an awful lot, and I really, really appreciate it. And Simon's a regular contributor to and joiner in of the live streams as well, and a very, very clever tech. He really is. He knows a lot more than I do. Chris R. Volkswagen has a special coil pack removal tool. How does a tool work? I have no idea because I stay well away from Volkswagens and that kind of stuff. So hopefully somebody else in the group could maybe help you out on that one. Don't know. Never used it. Connor K, lots of good chaps here. I would be proud to drink a pint or turn wrenches with anyone in our group. Likewise, Connor. Simon, I'd not go that far, Andy. Oh, you know, modesty, mate, modesty. Right, okay, we've got to the end of the comments, caught up finally. Apologies for the bit of a stop-start thing at the start of the live stream. My bad. Now, just let me get set up, actually. Before I show you the pie, I want to show you a photo. So I've got to open my emails. I'm going to set myself a photo so I can get it on the laptop for you. Oh, come on, internet. Yes, open the envelope. That's the one. just take this time to talk amongst yourselves while I get organised. Anyway, this is the pie, the bag. It is the infamous steak and cheese, my favourite pie. It's still opening the emails. What do we got? Chris, all right, hooks up under the coil to pull it up. Hand pulling on them coils can snap the top off. There you go. You see, you know everything. Right, hang on. Oh, I've got some good news. Some good news to tell you this. I've had a massive passport saga. It ran out, and you can no longer get UK passports, British passports, from anywhere except Britain, England, the passport office, which is very different to last time I renewed it. You could get them in Wellington, which was really easy. This time around, it's turned out to be an absolute bollock and extremely expensive for anybody outside the UK. I think all up, it's probably cost me about 600 New Zealand dollars to get it sorted out. They emailed me a couple of days ago saying it still hasn't arrived. This is my old passport that you've got to send to them, which had expired. And I did a little, we sent it tracked, so I did a little search on the tracking number, and it had been delivered on the 1st of December. So I emailed them back, screenshot, sorry, you've got it. Anyway, turns out they managed to find it, but it was not looking very good at all. Okay, that's failed. I did send myself that picture. What the hell? It's not there. So you'll have to see it on the phone. Bear with me. Bear with me. It's that one. Right, there you go. I'm not going to twizzle it round. That is the bakery that we got this pie from in Taupo. And it's called Bakery Extra, which is a normal bakery with extra. So we'll see what their pies are like, if they're any good or not. Just bear with me, get rid of the cigarette, that's all gone. Here we go. The pie. First time it's ever been taken out of the bag since leaving Bakery Extra. Boom, 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 boom. Oh, it's pretty heavy. It hasn't got a weight on the bag. It's just a plain bag. But it is actually quite weighty. So it's either full of lard or something, I don't know. Anyway, there you go. That's the top. It looks pretty well made, actually. Again, we've gone for the classic puff pastry top, which I'm not a great fan of, to be honest. The Wild Bean Cafe ones are not puff pastry on top, which is good. The base looks ultra strong, extremely resilient to thumb entry. So we're looking pretty good there. Right, before we go back to the comments, let's go and put this in the pie warmer, because we always forget. Turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom. Okay, there we go. Oh, the sandblasting cabinet has had a massive workout the last few days. Oh, I did some more tumbling, so we're gonna have a look in there and see if they're all finished. Hopefully they are. Right, here we go. I'll put my sign up on the cupboard. There we go. Right. Nice. 23 minutes. It's been in the fridge. Perfect. Okay, we'll leave that to do its thing in the pie warmer that's never been cleaned. Ever. Okay. Right, what else have we got? Let's have a wander around while we're up. This is the carnage from the painting yesterday. Yes, I have a lot of tidying up to do. I've still got some more dip painting to do. It's working out pretty well now, actually. I've got it sussed. Slightly different thickness of paint, and it works out really, really well. Still got those to do. A few of those, about 80 of those left to dip paint. Those are all the little hooks that we made up out of some spokes, which is pretty cool. And if we go over here, this is a phenomenal invention that I came up with. It's not, I didn't decide it, but I've used cement mixers over the years for all sorts of stuff because they're really, really durable and reliable. And I was down at Hayes Engineering Museum in the South Island, and they got talking about a tumbler. I'd never really heard of a tumbler before. Hang on. There we go. Right, get rid of that. Get rid of that. So I thought, I wonder if we can tumble these parts. So, all that these have had done is all the holes drilled and everything, and Mrs. Mechanic's done the deburring on both sides. 800 deburrs, by the way. And then we've thrown them in the cement mixer with some used garnet. And this is how they come out. These have been tumbling for probably 4 or 5 hours, which is a long time, but it's quite a hard surface. But with a quick brush off with a nice, clean, dry paintbrush to get the final bits of dust off, these are now ready for painting. So hardly any human intervention whatsoever. And the plus side is there's an extra bonus to this. It cleans the inside of the cement mixer something brilliantly. Absolutely spot on. There's hardly any cement in there now. So I get a clean cement mixer at the same time. Very good. The only one downside is it's quite noisy. I remember the guy at Hayes Engineering saying that their tumbler, and they don't put garnet in their tumbler, they just put the pieces of metal in and leave it for about a day and a half. They don't use it anymore, by the way. This is a long time ago. Extremely noisy, and they could hear the tumbler a mile away where the guy used to live. The old chap that took us around. Have you ever seen that video? It's on the channel. I did a video of wandering around Hayes Engineering, and it's pretty cool stuff, actually. You should check it out. But there you go. The tumbler works. So if you've got lots of bits of metal, I've got sharp edges and stuff, and you need to prepare them for paint and get rid of the sharp edges, and you've got an old cement mixer kicking around, it's also a tumbler. It's brilliant. Absolutely fantastic, and it saves a lot of time. Yes, I do need to sweep the workshop. I don't know if you can see this on camera or not, but that's all the overspray, because I spray the big plates. I still spray the big plates. I don't dip paint those because they're too big, and I hang them off a little swivelly thing. Actually, I'll show you. It's over here somewhere. Having a wander around the workshop. Oh, it's behind the cabinet. Hang on, bear with me. Let's see if I can pull that across a bit. There we go. Live TV. It's down here somewhere. There we go. Look. Right. So this is what we do. I don't know if I've shown you this before or not, but it works out really well. So with an additional piece of angle iron, I just mount that on there, and it's got this little, hang on, one-handed, this little thing here, the eyelet, actually rotates, which is very, very important. It's critical to the design of this component. So then, using a double-ended hook, I then suspend the plate, and I use a screwdriver. You'll like this. These screwdrivers, sorry Tang, they need cleaning now. I use a screwdriver and poke it through one of the holes in the plate. So I've got over here, there's still one or two. These are sort of prototype plates. I poke that through there, and let's say the plate's hung from one of the hooks out. I say that hole there, look. And then with the screwdriver, I can manipulate the plate in a full 360 degrees and do all the spraying. It's absolutely brilliant. So I can spray the entire thing in one go. And the hooks that we use, the bigger ones, well, they're over here, if we've got any left. But most of them are outside, actually. Hang on. There we are, look. So one of those, which is made from some old 6mm rebar. So we use that to hang it up with, which is really strong, and it works brilliantly. So they're all done. They're all sprayed. I sprayed them all yesterday, which is an absolute relief, to be honest, because there's a lot of work goes into it. And then Mrs. Mechanic did me a double shot whiskey and coke, and that was the end of the day. Yes, been working very hard. There's sandblasting garnet all over the floor. It's real dusty in here, and there's the overspray to sweep up as well. But the good thing is, where I spray it in the workshop, I don't need to put any kind of sheeting on the racking or anything like that, because the paint is dry by the time it gets to that distance. Good, isn't it? So it's just a case of quick sweep up and dust down, and away you go. Job done. It works brilliantly. I did put a sheet over Alan's bike. I thought that would be prudent, to be honest. Right, back to the live stream. Let's have a look. Oh, there we go. Look, it's a bit grainy now because I'm wandering around. But anyway, Here we go. Right. J. Billy Josh, Andy and crew, Happy New Year. Missed last week as father in hospital. All good now, though. Well, that's a relief. J. Billy Josh, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us today, matey. Appreciate it. Pete Neves, good morning, Andy and crew. Good morning, Pete. Welcome back, sir. I'm just having another slurp of my coffee because it's going to be getting cold shortly. Oh, I made that coffee. It's really strong. Jim Haynes, a Volkswagen or Audi most likely needs new coils anyway. So just let them out, just pull them out and get on with it. Funny guy. Mike Bazanski, How did you mash that finger? Oh, that one. I don't remember. It's nearly the little sample of internal blood is now working its way towards the end. I didn't squash it. I think actually I must have just caught it on something as I was walking past, and it just did whatever it did. It really hurt. I remember that, but I didn't realize I was gonna get what do you call them? I suppose first time I've ever had one of those. To be fair, but give me another few months, it'll be gone. But I think it was just walking past me. I just clipped it on the bench or something like that, and it's like, oh, Chris R. Simon, so where did you insert the tool? Or where do you, underneath so you've got the coilovers on top of the spark plug, and the tool will go underneath the top, and you'll be able to just almost like prise it out a little bit, just to ease it up, because they obviously stick down a bit. I would say, maybe I'm wrong, but Simon will tell you. Mike Adams, B and I have had 20 years experience mixing mortar since my dad was a brick mason. If you are concerned with getting the rest of the residual cement out, run some large gravel in the mixer for a while. I do that. Normally, it's not gravel. I usually put some old bricks that I've got, some half bricks in, and they usually break up into little bits. And that does get most of it out, but man, that's really good. So some bits of metal, if you're doing a job and you've got 20 or 30 or 40, I mean, I do 100 pieces at a time, and it's loud. It is loud, but anything in a cement mixer is pretty loud, but it bloody works. I mean, it comes up absolutely mint. It's like somebody sandblasted the inside of the cement mixer. Very, very cool. Now, great segue, by the way. Health. You've mentioned that I've hurt my finger. Well, it doesn't hurt anymore. That's on the way. That's on the mend. But there is a possibility that I may have caught somehow a life-threatening flesh-eating bug. Yes, Mrs. Mechanic's going to go mental now. I shouldn't have shown you this, but on the back of my arm here, can you see that? It's weird. It's not a burn. I haven't burnt it anywhere. Itches like hell, and it seems to be getting bigger. So if you see me in a couple of weeks' time with my right arm amputated, you'll know why. I'm not jesting either. It really is incredibly itchy. And I don't know what it is. It's something. Mrs. Mechanic thought it was like an eczema kind of thing to start off with, but I don't think it is. It looks, the front, the here around here is extremely red. I don't know if you can see it on camera or not, but it's, I believe there's something there going num, 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 working its way across my skin. So I fully intend, and this will be on the comments as well, I fully intend, what? Ringworm. Well, you've got my attention now. Where do you get that from? Doctors on Monday. Ringworm. Humans. Well, given the fact that two of you have mentioned, oh God, I can't spell. Just bear with me. I really want to know what this is, because it's. Okay, I've got the Wheel of Death. Okay, bear with me. That'll pop up in a minute. Simon, try some Caniston cream thrush. It's fungal. Okay. Well, I do have some athlete's foot kind of cream stuff, because wearing boots all the time, everything rots down there. Okay, hang on. There's all sorts coming through. Jim, most rail engines. Ringworm. That's the most rail engines use a 6mm screw for coils. Only Germans will make something with push-in coils, needing special tools to make things simple. Yes, I agree. Thank you, Jim. John Dwyer, ringworm from sheep. You'll be okay. How? Wire wheel it? Yeah, honestly, I did consider just getting something really hot and just, when you cauterize something, I thought, I'll burn the crap out of it, but I don't know what it is. But I will keep you posted. It's important we stay healthy, but Yeah, it's been itchy there for quite a few weeks, and then I think one night watching a movie, I just itched the crap out of it, and that seemed to sort of accelerate things. So I'll do some more research on what that is, and I'll report back. Yes, bit disconcerting to be honest. Hopefully it isn't a flesh-eating bug. I quite like my right arm; it's very useful. Now, you may remember, just while the pie is cooking, last Sunday, which was New Year's Day, by the way, for those that didn't realise, last Sunday, just before the live stream, was it before the live stream? No. When was it? No, sorry, it was the Saturday, the day before the live stream. That's right. I was setting up the workshop because Stu in his old car was coming down, his Velox. And Atle, friend of ours, asked me to weld up his lawnmower, which I did before Stu got here. And it was quite an easy job. I did a good job. It looked pretty tidy and it worked really well. And since then, our neighbour has done nothing but cut grass, whether it's his own grass, neighbour's grass, verge grass, any grass that he can get his hands on, he seems to be cutting it, which is fine, I suppose, keeps him happy. But he turned up on the Sunday afternoon after the live stream, and he brought me, top bloke, I wasn't expecting anything. I said, no, you're all good, it's on me, you're a neighbour. He brought me 6 bottles of cider. Look at that, scrumpy cider. This one's the raspberry flavour. Very tasty, and it's quite strong, actually. It's 8.2%, which is pretty strong. I mean, 2 pints of this, and I'm anybody's, to be honest. It really is. It's not the best tasting cider, but man, it does the trick. It really does. So, thank you, neighbour. Wasn't expecting it. Was very surprised, and I think I managed to get through 2 bottles so far. So we've still got lots more left. Yesterday I was on the bourbon and cokes, which was a nice change. Now, where have we got? So ringworm, we all reckon. Okay, I will check that out and see what we can do to stop that. J. Billy Josh. AAA battery. What? AAA battery on it as cold strap. It stops the itch. Ah. Okay. I've been using some of that. I just tried it yesterday, actually. It's nappy rash cream, basically. It's what you use to put on tattoos after you've had them, after you've just been inked, and that seems to calm things down. I used that last night, and it wasn't itchy during the night, but it was itching again this morning, so I put some more on. But yeah, I'll thank you for all your help. I will check that out. It's a bit of a worry. Now then, J. Billy Josh. Right arm is useful. Lol. It is. It's very useful. It does most of the work. Anti-mosh. I've got Wheel of Death on here now, so I know what's going on there. Anti-mosh. GF has something similar. Oh, girlfriend has something similar. The doc said it was not ringworm. Still has it. Try a wire brush and paraffin, lol. Ooh, it's going to hurt, isn't it? Okay, I'll get it checked out. Simon, have you been watching The Rig? New series on Amazon. It's really good. Oh, The Rig. Is that an oil rig? I don't know, any guessing. I'm going to take a picture of that. We will check it out. I have got Amazon. Although they do seem to countrify what you can see. There we go, I've got that. What are we watching at the moment? The Rookie, I think it's called, or not The Rookie. Begins with an R. It's on Netflix. Very good anyway. It's good. Maybe Mrs. Mechanic, if she wakes up, will text me the right name. Jim Haynes. In the southern states, they have brown recluse spiders that, if bitten, dissolve flesh. Right, remind me to stay away from there. Okay, thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. That's another nightmare coming up. Mike Adams. I think Gold Bond makes an ointment that takes care of ringworm. Gold Bond, another photo coming up. Okay, I'll see if we can get that over here. There we go. Right, that's enough photos for now, I think. Okay, bear that in mind. Thank you for all your help with that. It's, normally things just don't bother me. I don't really get issues like that, but yeah, odd, isn't it? Really odd. And one question: if it is ringworm, let's assume it's ringworm for now. Can it spread? You know, can you, if you're itching it and you get some of it on, you know, some of the skin bits under your fingernail, for example, and then you start itching somewhere else, can it then spread it somewhere else? Because that's something I'll be really careful about. Because I do tend to itch it when I'm watching TV without really realizing, you know. Pete Neves, I like some single malt scotch. Me too. Pete Woodfine. Hi, Andy and crew. Good morning, Pete. Welcome back to the workshop. It's good to have you on board, matey. We've got 32 viewers, which is pretty impressive. Simon, it can spread to... Oh, no. Okay. Right. First thing Monday morning, straight down to the doctor's. I think if that's the case, I might put like a plaster or a bandage over it or something to stop the itching it so it can't spread. Jeez, that's nasty, isn't it? Okay, now, Benjamin brought me something down the other week, which I thought was extremely good. He bought these. I'll open them up for you so you can see what they are. Bought these, Amazon or some online Chinese thingy probably. And he said they're about $25 New Zealand. Now, these things normally are really expensive, especially if you buy the genuine ones, which up until now I have. So, is that going to fall? No, it's not going to fall. I think we'll be okay. Right, I'm going to take off the zip tie. You ready? Crap. That went really well, didn't it? I've got some tidying up to do now. Oh, they're all over the bench. Okay, well, anyway, this one's open. So, in there are plastic push pins. They're also all over the bench as well, so I'll spend the next 5 minutes tidying up. But little plastic push pins. And there's lots and lots of them and lots of different sizes. And there's the outer part of one. And that's the, hang on, there'll be one on the bench. That's an inner. And they're all sized, which means I've got to sort them out as well. That one goes in, I don't know where it goes. Is it going that way? It goes in that one. There we are. Extremely expensive normally. I mean, you know, if you're buying genuine, you pick up about $2.50 New Zealand for one of these, maybe $3 within the sort of ATV world. So, oh, I didn't go out of there, did it? Yes, it did. Right. Okay, I'm making a mess now. I've already made a mess. They're all over the bench, which is going to be fun when I do the pie. Anyway, not to worry. The other two boxes stayed together. One of the clips can't have been quite in properly. Thank you, China. Not to worry. Gives me something to do. As if I haven't... Oh, they're all over the place. Anyway. Hang on a minute. Oh, God. There's one in my coffee. I nearly drank one. If there's one, there might be two. I'll keep my eyes on. Anyway, so thank you, Ben, for those. They'll be extremely useful. And save me a lot of money. But yeah, $25 or something, $23, $25 delivered. That included shipping as well, which is an incredibly good price. So, you know, if you're in that kind of field and you're using that kind of stuff, then check them out. Those, if I take the lid off, actually, it might tell us a bit more about them. Right, this is 620 pieces. So there's about 310 actual clips, because obviously I bet they count each part of the clip as a piece. And it doesn't give the manufacturer, unfortunately, but there's many, many different ones. And very happy to have those. So again, thank you, Ben. Much appreciated. And I will definitely make use of those on a regular basis because they do break. Right, where we get to? Simon Roll, haha, yeah, funny guy. It's just done it on the camera. J. Billy Josh. PMSL. PMSL, what's that stand for? Oh, piss myself laughing. Very good. Pete Neves, lol. Pete Neves, that stuff happens to me all the time. It doesn't happen to me all the time. Normally, I'm a lot more careful than that. But, you know, when you're doing things live, you just, I don't know, you rush. I don't know. Mike Adams, looks like you're having the same luck as me in your shop. I've already spilled an assortment pack of screws and an assortment pack of screw clamps. God, really? You've got some tidying up to do and some sorting out. Talking of sorting out, I remember when we left the UK, obviously, I brought with me as much stuff as I could. And we had in stock for our ATVs a huge array of M6 cap head bolts, all different lengths, different types, and so on. And we didn't have a lot of time. So I got an ammo box and just tipped them all into an ammo box. So they all got mixed up together with some other nuts and bolts that we had as well. And they stayed in that ammo box mixed up for a couple of years. And then Mrs. Mechanic came into the workshop, not this workshop, one of our previous workshops, on a Sunday or something it was. And she was bumbling around, or maybe I was on holiday or so. She was in the workshop anyway. And I said, "Oh, I've got a great job for you." And she said, "Oh, what's that?" So I looked at me dubiously. And I went, "No, not that." I said, "What you can do though is you can sort out these nuts and bolts for us." So she spent the rest of the day sorting out through all those nuts and bolts, putting them into separate containers for me. Oh, top lass. Did a really good job. And since then, we've managed to keep them all separate, and they're all now in that big roll cab that I keep all my nuts and bolts in. And I use them on a regular basis. It's very good. I'm very pleased that I brought them with me, because nuts and bolts here in New Zealand, unless you know the right person, are extremely expensive and sometimes not particularly good quality either. Those ones, I've still probably got 2/3 of what I brought with me, and I'm still using them. They're an absolute godsend, to be fair. That pie can't be too far away now, can it? Right, I'm not going to try and sort those out on camera because it'll take me bloody ages, because there's about 50 on the floor. I just need to make sure I don't stand on any of them and break them. That's all. So, plan of attack for the up and coming week, because the whole of last week has been doing these plates, basically, these kits. And we're nearly finished. Today's the last day. We've just got about 180 pieces to dip paint. I was very much against the dip painting technique initially. However, I've sort of fine-tuned it now, and it seems to work pretty well. And the beauty of it is, it's a lot cleaner because you're not spraying. You don't have to have the air compressor on. It's not fumey at all, really. It's just a more pleasant way of painting stuff. And it does give them a nice thick coat of paint. And I believe it actually uses less, well, there's the pie. It uses overall less paint because there's really hardly any wastage. The one thing you have to set up properly though is a drip zone, obviously. So you dip the item and then you hang it up. I usually hang it up over another tub to collect the drips. And then, about halfway through, I'll tip all those collected drips back into my main paint pot so we don't waste the paint. And then once they've been on the drip zone for 2 or 3 minutes, then they can go outside and be hung up and they don't drip anymore. The beauty of the paint that we're using, which is Flexure, I think it's called, made by Hempel, it dries really quick. 24 hours, within a few hours it's touch dry. 24 hours you can move stuff around. I like to try and leave them hung up for 2 to 3 days, really, just to make sure. It takes longer for the drip dries, for the dip painted items to dry because it's thicker. The only downside is you do usually get a little blob of paint at the very bottom. It always seems to retain a single blob. It's not a problem at all for the application, but for some applications it would be. But to actually spray all those small components individually, which we did the first few batches, is an absolute ball ache, and you get through a hell of a lot of paint doing it. So again, it saves money. It's a bit more pleasant to do, and it's probably takes about the same period of time. It may even be a little bit quicker. Where do we get to? Malcolm Casson, can we have the T140 gearbox back together before you get your arm amputated? Malcolm, I really, really, really want to get that bike finished. I really do. The new year is upon us. I really want to now source the special tools. I think I'm going to have to take a lead on that. Nothing seems to have come through from Alan. He's had the information for quite some time now. So I'll be sourcing those tools myself. I'll just buy them, you know, and I'll just give them an invoice at the end of it for those. I can't mess around any longer. However, I also have a stew that came up the other week on the Saturday, last Saturday. He has rebuilt a number of those gearboxes himself. So I was talking through with him my thought process and things that I need to check. And he was like, absolutely correct. You know, I need to check those shafts for run out because he's come across them before where it's a similar problem and the shafts themselves have got bent. And you can't rebuild a gearbox with bent shafts. It would need new ones. So once I've done all the inspection and I know what I need, then Alan will be ordering the parts. He needs to order the parts. And then maybe, just maybe, I'll involve Stu with the rebuild somehow. I don't know how we're going to do that yet. The logistics is a bit difficult because he lives in Invercargill. But he's a specialist. He's done those gearboxes before, and I can learn a lot from Stu. So that would give the video additional value. So it may even mean taking the engine out, and next time I'm in the South Island, schedule a weekend in Invercargill and rebuild the gearbox with him in his workshop, which would be really, really cool. So bear with me, it's work in progress, something I'd like to tee up with Stu. He'd be very happy to help me. Yeah, don't see a problem, actually. And I think Stu actually has got the special tools as well, but the problem is the delay in parts supply. So I need to get the tools here, strip it all down, measure everything, check everything, make a parts list, get the parts in hand, take the engine out, go to Invercargill. I mean, I'll be going there anyway, so it's not like a special trip, but it would be a really cool video to do. Stu's a clever chap when it comes to engines, and I really respect his knowledge. So yes, hopefully I'll still have both arms by that point. Pete Nees, the missus is great, and the keeper, she is. We regularly say this, Mrs. Mechanic is fantastic. She's been helping me like a trooper for the last few days. She is very tired now. I must admit, we were only saying it yesterday, we're both feeling a lot more tired post-COVID. It's a bit weird. Just seem to burn out quicker. You know, you could do 1 or maybe 2 days of work, and you know, where we'd maybe do a whole week of work and you're already feeling burnt out. It's a bit odd, and something which I'm hoping will over time dissipate and I'll get back to normal. But it does slow you up a little bit. I mean, you do push through, but man, on an evening you're absolutely knackered. The sofa's become my friend. I regularly just fall asleep on the sofa when we're watching movies. And in fact, Mrs. Mechanic fell asleep the other night watching a movie. She's just as tired as I am, to be honest. Mike Adams, I have a card catalogue type cabinet. I inherited it from my grandfather. That I keep bolts, fittings, etc. Those are quite sought after, that style cabinets. All I've got is, if I show you over here, look, I'll turn you around, 3, 2, 1, boom, is that one. That's actually quite cool. I like that. Back in the UK, we did have a few more of those. I managed to source that one here. It was pretty cheap, and I'm very pleased I did. I keep all my used, you know, drill bits in the bottom and taps and that kind of thing. It's a very useful piece of kit, to be honest. It really is. Yes, very, very happy with that one. Good purchase. I think it was like $30 or something. It was very cheap. There seems to be a lot more of that kind of stuff in the South Island, especially Christchurch. I noticed there's a lot of them for sale down there. So maybe they're still finally clearing out the offices and going computerized. Yeah, maybe they're a bit backward down there. I don't know. But there's a lot more of it down there. The stuff in Auckland seems to have been snapped up and has already been sold. Pete Woodfine, nobody wants a bent shaft. Well, correct. I was going to comment on that, but I won't. Right, bear with me. I'm just going to sweep the bench a bit because, well, you know why. We've got stuff everywhere. And I need to consider. Oh, there's even more right over there, look. How the hell did that get over there? I haven't ingested any of these yet. I believe there aren't any more in my coffee, but we'll find out shortly, probably. Okay, so the pie is ready. It's had a couple of minutes to stand. It's pie time. Let's go and grab that pie. 3, 2, 1, boom. Here we go. Okay. Oh, yeah, honestly. I think the workshop will be getting a nice big sweep out today when we're finished. Ooh, look at that. Golden brown. Now, it's probably quite hot. In fact, it's very hot, as always. Looking good, though. Right, I'm going to do a leap of faith to the bench. Hang on. You ready? 3, 2, 1. Ow! Jeez. Okay, onto the bag. Done. Now, we need to go and close the door because we don't want Ratty getting in there, do we? Right. Okay. Look at this. This thing has done hours and hours and hours and hours and hours of work. Oh, one thing we did notice is on the gun. Can you see there? Look, oh, you can't really see it now. I know. I'll show you. Hang on. Just while the pie's cooling down, because it's a bit on the hot side. If we go over here to the messy side of the workshop, and one of these drawers. Right, bear with me because they're quite heavy. Bear with me. Oh, okay. Right. So I'll put you down a little bit. Dum 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 dum. There we go. Okay. So these are the little nozzles that we get. The ceramic nozzles that go in that little the shot blasting gun, so to speak. That's a 7mm one, and you can get 6mm as well. Is that a 6mm? I don't know. I think it might be. Have a look. Yes. Right. So you can get, basically we can get 7mm and 6mm nozzles. However, one of the nozzles was looking a little bit tired. I actually made a metal nozzle because I ran out, which worked really well. Actually, quite pleased with that. Did the job, got us out of trouble. And eventually they end up something like that, which is starting to end up, you know, where you end, you know, it's spreading out too much and you're not really getting much penetration. However, the nozzle started to wear. There's one in the gun now. It started to wear. It got to about that sort of level. And I thought, oh, we'll put a new nozzle in. So I put a 6mm nozzle in, and the cabinet immediately stopped pulling the garnet up through the supply pipe to the gun. I thought, wow, that's a bit weird. Brand new nozzle, it should work mint. So then I put the old nozzle back in again, one similar to that, and instantly it started to pull up the garnet really well again. So we just left it in, basically. It was work. We just used some new garnet as well. So for our job, we just left that in, and it worked really well because we don't have to fully remove the scale off the plates. I don't know if I've got a plate around here that's got the scale. Hang on, let's have a look. Let's go over here. Bear with me. I've got to sort my tripod out while I'm walking. There we are. So yes, if you look over here, look. I won't take it off the hook because it's all going to... In fact, hang on. Bear with me. Bear with me. I'll take it off the hook. Will that go under there? It will. Okay. So this is one of the 700 plates. Take it over here. I know some of you have already seen this, but it's quite important, really. The scale, the mill scale on these plates is incredibly hard and very, very, very smooth. And there's no way that paint will adhere to it. So the only reason why we are actually sandblasting these plates is to prep them for painting. Now, we don't have to remove all the mill scale. All we have to do is rough it up, provide a roughed surface for the paint to key to. So, and it's when you're sandblasting, it's really easy to forget that and try and get it really, really, really well sandblasted. And that's wrong. We don't need to do that. We end up spending a lot more time if we do that. So with a nozzle like that, because the spray is a much larger pattern, you can actually do the plate much quicker with a worn nozzle than you can with a new nozzle, because a new nozzle focuses it into a little dot, and you end up, well, I say a little dot, about 15mm, depends how far away you are, 15-20mm sort of area at a time, and you end up doing lots and lots and lots of runs across the plate to do the whole plate. Whereas with a nozzle like that, then it's sort of maybe about 2 inches is your coverage area of your spray pattern, and you can get the plate done in about half the time. It hasn't removed all the mill scale, but it has sufficiently roughed up the surface, and you've obviously got to do both sides as well. So we've done about 1,000 of these plates now. About 1,000 plates. So that's actually quite a lot, isn't it? Really, both sides. So good job, Mrs. Mechanic. I'll put that away later on. Right, pie time. Okay, turn you around. I've got to sort the camera out because the angles are all wrong and stuff now. So bear with me. Making quite a mess this morning, aren't we? Okay, here we go. Here we go. Sort the camera out. Get it level, Andy. Get it level. There we go. Right. That will work. Okay, so the pie. This was from, was it Bakery Extra in Taupo? And there you go, look. It looks pretty good. Not a great fan of puff pastry on the top, but, you know, we'll see. We'll see how it performs. Base is phenomenal. I don't see any kind of imperfections or cracks or anything like that. So structural integrity is extremely good. I've actually forgotten my pen. Hang on a minute, I'll go get my pen. Jeez. Oh, God. There's little clips all over the floor. I think I did stand on one, actually. I forgot that they were there. Right, so we've got the pen. Pen lid is off. Pen is ready. Okay, we're going in. Where do we start? I think we'll start at this end. Here we go. Ooh. Now, JJ, morning Andy and crew, happy new year. Good morning, JJ. I can't give, oh there, I'll give you the thumbs up there, look. Welcome back to the workshop, matey. Simon, stuff like them set of drawers get put out for scrap at work. Really? Scrapman never gets them though. I bet he doesn't. No, you gotta salvage those whenever you can. Robert Hickey, you can't use that word. You can't. Let's close that one. Alexandra Fritas, where's the hot girls? Well, the Tool Girls are on other videos. They're not obviously on the live stream today, but there's plenty of them. There's over 100 videos of Tool Girls, so check out the playlist. Right, there is what it looks like on the inside. It looks like there's an awful lot of pastry at the moment, but we have just embarked on this journey. As we get further into the pie, we'll get a lot more contents. Very dark, rich center. Look, the contents there. Very dark. I've not had a pie from this bakery before, so this is the first for me. Now, the base is quite brittle, quite crumbly. See, it's cracked along that line there, look. And we've got a big crack down there as well. So I've got to be a little bit careful how I eat this. We could end up with a pie-tastrophe. Now then, so we've done that one. Yes. How do you call your snack? This is a pie. It's a New Zealand pie. You can get them in the UK, you can get them in other countries as well. Although not so much in the US. It's not really a thing in the US at the moment. Although I think Jim's going to try and sort that out and start his own Jim's Pies. Which should be he isn't, but he should do. Good chunk of meat there. And you can see the cheese on the top. So we've already started to encounter some of the cheese. Remember the pie last week? All the cheese was at one end of the pie, which was weird. You know, you just got a couple of mouthfuls of cheese and nothing else. It wasn't nicely distributed with the steak. It is pretty hot. Okay. It does taste pretty good, actually. I have to give it fair dues. Bakery Extra is doing well. Taste, flavor, contents, very rich. I could sense possibly some heartburn from this a bit later on, but we'll see. I'm going to give it an 8 for the taste of the contents. That's not the pastry, that's the contents. Now, Structure Foley Partners. It's doing pretty well. We've not had any problems yet, other than a couple of minor cracks, which I've managed to navigate through using my pie skills. We could do the runnability test. It might fail this, actually. Let's see. So we've got a big blob already hanging out. Maybe should I eat that? Okay. That's given us a nice clean face. 30 seconds, 45 degrees. we have got some very slow movement. Is it going to be too much and we're going to lose some contents? Remember, you're on the phone, you're talking to somebody, you've forgotten about your pie, you're holding it up. Oh, there we go. Right on the limit. We were almost going to get a blob then. So doesn't get full marks. That was probably about 20 seconds. So that's really replicating, you know, a real world situation where you'd end up with a nice big blob of your pie contents, either on your shirt, trousers, in your car, on the floor, or if you're talking to your mate outside the car, you know, on the concrete, on the forecourt of the petrol station. Quite embarrassing. And what a loss. You just lost some of your nice steak. So that's a bad thing for the pie. I'm going to give it, on the runnability, 7. It was quite a big blob, wasn't it? I'm going to give it a 7. I'm going to give it a 7. I think 7's fair. You might change my mind on that. Pete Neves. Looks like a lot of jelly. There's a lot of gravy in there. There is. But it is very tasty, and the meat is large chunks, which is really good. Meat quality. Okay. Looks to be like there's a nice big chunk of meat just up there. I'm going to go for that next. Now, one thing we saw there, or I did, was the oozability of the pie. So I took a chunk on this side, and of course a lot of the gravy and stuff, as the pie compressed, was oozed out from this side. Something else you've got to be really aware of when eating a pie, because it can catch you out. You end up with a big blob of pie on the side of your face, and that's not a good look. Okay. So meat quality. It's not prime steak, that's for sure. However, it's not too bad. I could give it an 8, actually. I think the meat quality is not bad. Now, that could change if we get a big lump of gristle. And actually, whilst we're on the subject of gristly steak, I was in Taupo the other day. Friday it was. We decided to take a day off because we were ahead of schedule on doing these kits. And we were tired. So we wanted a break. So we went to Taupo and bought Mrs. Mechanic a pie. And I had a pie, and I had one of the Wild Bean Cafe gourmet steak and cheese, my go-to pie. And the first bite had a chunk of meat in it, which was great. Man, was it gristly. It really was chewy. It wasn't a big lump of gristle per se. It wasn't fat, but it was by no means a prime piece of meat. It was not what I expected from a Wild Bean Cafe pie at all. So yeah, it can happen. Even some of the best pies out there, you can get the odd one that's not great. This is quite an oozer, this one. There's a lot of gravy in there. There really is. Wow. Okay. Pie or contents to crust ratio. So this is the contents versus the amount of pastry on the cross section of the pie. So there you go. Look, obviously, normally you end up with quite a lot of pastry on the corners where the lid meets the actual base. It's already starting to ooze out, isn't it? Jeez. Okay. What would you say that was? Okay, we've got massive voids in the puff pastry up here. You can ignore that. But as regards the thickness, the thickness of the base is probably about 4 millimeters, and the lid's about maybe 5 millimeters. So it's not bad. It's not bad. It's not great. I'm going to give it a 6. I'll give it a 6 for that. Now, I've already started to get some rumblings, sort of minor burpage going on. It's a very messy pie. That flaky pastry hasn't done it any justice whatsoever. Now, availability / logistics. This is all about whereabouts you can buy the pie from, how readily available it is. This pie can only be purchased from Bakery Extra. It was Bakery Extra, wasn't it? Let's have a look. I've got a picture through now. Bomb shot is Bakery Extra. Yes, Bakery Extra. Very good. sorry, without an E, XTRA, to be modern. Okay, bakery extra. So it only gets a 1. You can only buy this pie from one place, one bakery in Taupo, and nowhere else in the country. So you've got a long journey ahead if you need one of these pies. So they get 1. That's a big drop in score. Now, pastry taste rating. Okay, let's get rid of this big flap of puff pastry. Puff pastry. What we're testing here is any weird kind of aftertaste, because you sometimes get aftertaste with pastries. That wasn't too bad. Right, I'm going to go for a bit of normal pastry now, a bit of base pastry. There we go. Should have washed my hands this morning. Just pretty much standard, the run-of-the-mill pastry. It doesn't have any weird aftertaste. It tastes okay for pastry. There's no herbs or anything like that on it. It's pretty basic. I'll give it a 7. What the hell? It's not too bad. I'll give it a 7. Now, packaging design. Just going to get rid of some of the puff pastry. There we go. It's just a paper bag. That's all it is, and they've just used a little stamper to put on the flavour, which is really helpful for me because I bought 4 or 5 pies while I was there, some for stock, and I wouldn't have a clue which is which. So they're actually, they're in labelled bags, which is nice. So I'll give them a mark for that. Other than that, standard paper bag. They didn't design it; they just bought it. So 2. I think they get a 2 for that. It's pretty basic. Not a lot of design going on. Recyclable score, exactly, paper bag. They get 10 out of 10. Well, no, they didn't tell us it was paper bag, so they lose 1 mark. There's no indication on there of recyclableness. So they get 9 out of 10 for that. Oh, dear, oh dear. Right, so the burps have already started. So we've lost a point on post pie heartburn already. We're down to 9. And that score, I think, will continue to plummet. But we'll come back to that one. Here we go. Huge chunk of meat there, look. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, it's more like stewing steak, actually. Oh, pie server attractiveness. Middle-aged lady, Asian. I would say she was very polite, very welcoming. She was being held up by another customer in front of us, who she was serving at the time, that wanted to give her entire life story, which was a bit annoying. But she remained polite. I mean, we were getting a bit frustrated because I want to pay, but she remained polite and tried to end the conversation with that customer quickly so she could serve us, but without upsetting that customer. So she was very, good customer service, and she was reasonably attractive. I think I'm going to give her an 8. Actually, I think she deserves an 8. She did very well. Mrs. Mechanic may think that that's a bit high, but it's not just about appearance. It's about the feeling of welcomeness to the store, and she did very well with that. So I'm going to give her an 8. Okay. Structure Foley partners. Well, we're still going. It's struggling a bit. We've got this big where the lid's starting to break away from the base. The glue's obviously not particularly good. I'm having to hold that together. Yeah, it's and there's a lot of bits all over the bench, so it is struggling. But I'll score that shortly. Okay, the rest really have to wait a bit more. So I need to eat some more pie. And it's quite a big pie. I would say it's one of the larger pies that we've done. Now then. Pete Neves, starting to lose the top. Absolutely, Pete. It really is. You've got to be very careful how you handle this pie. It's quickly gone downhill as a structure. John Dwyer, you're making me hungry watching you eat that pie. Sorry, John. Alexandra, do the girls change your oil frequently? I know where you're going with that, matey. I do. And we did a number of services. Absolutely. Alexandra, only in LA, no pies like that in Boston. Oh, you can get them in LA. That's interesting to know. Good stuff. Right, we're going to keep munching away. Huge chunk of meat just gone down there. Not gristly at all, but it does. The quality of the meat's not great. What did I give it before? Meat quality 8. I might give them a 7 actually for that. I'm going to downgrade that to a 7. Right, I'm going to keep going. So again, we've got more oozage. A lot of gravy. I mean, there is lots. It's quite a big pie. There's lots of good chunks of meat in there, but there's a lot of gravy in between. And that gravy, even though the pie is only warm now, is staying quite fluid. The viscosity is quite high. Another chunk of meat. Great. Obviously, bakery extra does mean extra in your pie. So again, more oozage. It's an oozage pie, is this one. All right, let's get rid of that bit of puff pastry. Oh, jeez, nearly dropped it. Wow. Oh, you can't beat cold, strong coffee, can you? Right, we're nearing the end. There you go. A good cross section of one of the bits of meat. But I have to say, so far, no gristly meat whatsoever. And there's been good consistency through the pie. And we're still getting some of the cheese as well. The cheese is just at the top up there, look. So quite happy with that. The quality control is very good. I imagine the pies are on like maybe a little mini conveyor belt thing. And the cheese is sort of dropped, you know, probably in liquid form, processed cheese, on the pie as it passes by. And it goes all the way across the top, which is really good. It's how it should be done. You can see there that we've got a little strand, a little wisp of cheese that's now, you know, cooling down. Okay, structure fully partners. We're about there now. So, turn you around. 3, 2, 1, boom. Look at this. We have quite some carnage on the workbench. Imagine all that in your truck while you're driving along. This is by no means a pie that you can eat in your car. Absolutely would strongly recommend against that. You'd have a lot of cleaning up to do. Unless it was a rental or not your car. And then maybe you won't be too bothered. Right. Just a bit of crust left. Contents have all been eaten. So, structure. It looked really good at the start. It did. And it went downhill very, very quickly. A combination of the puff pastry and poor glue, basically. And brittle pastry as well on the base. So I'm going to drop it down to 6. Not great, bakery extra. It could be a lot better. Now, still tasty when cold. I think it'd be okay cold, but again, you have to eat it outside your car, which means you've got to stop and pull up and get out of your vehicle. And it might be raining. That's not good. Oh, that's the second one. Pastry, sorry, still tastes when cold. So, cheese was well spread out. Cheese was quite tasty. Trying to imagine it cold. I'm going to give it a 7. I think a 7 is probably a little bit high, but I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt because the cheese was actually quite tasty. Post pie heartburn and stuffability. Well, that pastry is quite dry actually. Wow. That bit's really dry. Okay. I am stuffed. It was a big pie. It had good chunks of meat in it. It was relatively tasty. Do I want anything else to eat? No, I don't. It's done the trick. Do I feel overstuffed? Maybe a little bit. So we're going to be coming back down on a score there. If it was perfect, 10 out of 10. If I was still hungry, then the scores would be below 10. And if I'm the more stuffed I am, you know, stuff being like, oh, don't want to do any work, I'm full kind of thing. That's bad for productivity in the workshop. So I'm gonna knock it a point off. I do feel a little bit stuffed, so we're gonna go back down to 9 on that one. Pen's drying out. Obviously, Andy's waffling. And post pie heartburn, we've had 2 substantial burps and a couple of like hidden ones earlier on where it was just a bit of a rumble. I'm gonna give it a 7. I think all that really rich gravy is probably going to cause me a problem further down the line. And I will review the score after the live stream. If I need to alter it, I'll alter it. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We've got all the scores in. Let's see if we can do some arithmetic. Here we go. Right. Oh, man, look at that. Got to try and avoid the minefield of little tiny black fasteners all over the floor. I want to stand on those and break them. Okay. Avoid all the pastry. Okay, there we go. Right. So, not too sure if you can see that on camera or not. Oh, another burp. Right, that's going to go down to a 6. Okay. 14, 28, 34, 35, 40, 42? It is, isn't it? 42, 49, 51, 60, 66, 75, 83. Pretty standard basic score, really. Run of the mill. 83. Oh, I haven't got a little sticky thing either. Let's go and get that. I was in a bit of a rush this morning. You can tell, can't you? Right, I need one of me magnetic stickers. Hang on, bear with me. Okay, there we go. Right, Tool Girl cupboard's very useful. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Right, stick that on there. Oh, I nearly got one. Jeez. Okay, back down there again. So this was Bakery Extra with an X. Oh, I stood another one. I'm going to put taupo, steak and cheese, and we got 83. Now, I'm going to put on here very crumbly. Okay, because I just want to make a special note that it was catastrophic. Okay, here we go. Let's go and see where that ends up on the scoreboard. Bakery Extra. Avoiding all the push pins again. Look, it's a minefield. They're everywhere. Okay. 83. I think that's on this. Yes, it is. It's on this one. Okay, a lot of 80s at the moment. Right, so that's going to have to go in there. I'll sort that out. So it's just the same as Mackenzie bacon, egg, and hash pie. Irvin's the Beast. That wasn't particularly good. In fact, mince pie and the Beast beef, bacon, and cheese only got 82. So we'll stick him in there. I'm going to have a bit of a shop around because we've done so many pies recently, haven't we? There we go. So that's where he is. He's on the side of the leaderboard, which I wouldn't go there again, which is a bit of a shame. It wasn't too bad a pie, really, but I suppose it lost a lot of score because of other stuff. Logistics, for example. Wow. Where did it lose the marks? Well, it only got 1 for availability logistics. And it got a pretty low score on packaging design as well. So it lost quite a few marks there. It doesn't take a lot to lose those marks. You know, these pie companies, they've really got to think of the full picture, not just the pie itself. Right, I've got some more cold coffee to finish. I've got some... Avoid all these pins that are all over the place. Right, there we go. Get my stool. Where's my stool gone? Oh, another pin. Jeez. Sorry, Ben. Right. Okay. Get rid of the bag. Mrs. Mechanic's going to sweep the workshop anyway, so... Well, I hope so anyway. Get rid of all that. Okay. We're back. We are back. Right, one more cigarette. We'll go back to the comments. Oh, can you hear the neighbour on his lawnmower? That's very close. I wonder if he wants something else welding. We'll see. He'll have to wait to the end of the live stream, won't he? Right, where do we get to? Hungry, Tool Girls, no pies, no, only in LA. Pete would fine. Definitely an eat in the bag pie. Most definitely, Pete. And that's what you would do if you were at a petrol station. Anyway, that's how you munch your way through. Jim Haynes, the plastic pins were made by Wuhan Auto Parts Company in China. Well, thanks, Jim. Appreciate that. He's obviously done a bit of research and found them. And pretty cheap. I think they were very cheap, actually. I don't feel quite so bad for maybe standing on one or two of them. Although I don't like to see waste, so I'm being as careful as I possibly can. But I'll get those tied up as soon as the live stream's over, so we don't damage any more. So yeah, very good actually. The pie itself was reasonably tasty. Certainly one of the better pies that were. I would say it was probably above average on flavour. Meat quality wasn't bad. Would I have another one? I said I wouldn't, but I mean, if I was in Taupo walking past the shop and I was hungry, then maybe I would probably consider it actually. But I would make damn sure that I ate the pie probably on the street, actually outside, and then the little dicky birds can have all the bits of crumbs and stuff that fall on the pavement. I wouldn't want to eat it even in the shop, in the bakery itself. There were a couple of tables there because you just know that you're going to leave bits all over the floor, and it's not fun, is it really? Better off having it outside, and then you can brush off your shirt and get rid of all the bits of carnage and stuff. Simon, hopefully they will last as long as COVID. I think you could be right there. So I think those pens are going to last me for a long time, to be fair. I don't use that many of them. And I did actually recently buy, I think I showed you the bag, I recently bought 100 through a New Zealand supplier. They were like $50 odd to be fair, but you know, there's a markup involved on that. But still a lot cheaper than buying the genuine ones. Whereas with this kit, I've got all different sizes, and I might even incorporate them in something that I'm making as well, rather than use nuts and bolts for certain things. Maybe a little, a cover or something that I want to put over something that's easy to remove without any real tools. Who knows? Roger Heats, my birthday is the start of March. If you're hanging around down this way, beers and cider. Ooh, I'll have to check my schedule, see where I am. Actually, but thanks for that, Roger. I will check it out and see how things are gonna land. Don't forget as well that we're also going to be doing the bike trip as well, which I think that's almost immediately after I finish. It's a bit weird. It's just the way it works out. Almost immediately after I've finished my South Island work run, we'll then be kicking off with the bike run, and I've actually booked the bike run finishes. And I know this is sure now because I remember it. The bike run, this is Mrs. Mechanic riding the, at this point in time, the little Honda Monkey. The little Honda Monkey bike, 125cc, ABS only on the front brake, from Cape Reinga to Bluff via a very abstract gravel road kind of route, as always. Probably about 4,000 Ks again, maybe just under. We'll see how things work out with the route. I've booked off 3.5 weeks from work, and the trip will end on the east. Well, it should end, I think, realistically on the Good Friday. We'll probably aim for that, and then we've got the Saturday, the Sunday, and the Monday to get back home. Because it really, in a relaxed fashion, it's 3 days to get home. You can do it in 2. You can do it in a day and a half if you're an idiot like me once. But to do it in over 3 days is a more relaxed kind of journey to get back. So Good Friday should be the day that she arrives in Bluff, all going to plan. But I have a lot to get done before then. On with the trip, actually. I did do some sums. I mentioned about, on that live stream when we had the little chimney in the workshop last week, all the things that I want to do to it, and I've got to build a trailer for the trip and stuff. Sort of priced it all up. Ridiculous amount of money, in all honesty, and don't really have enough time between now and the trip embarking, and we need some cash for the trip as well, to be able to spend that much money on the chimney. So I'm going to have to be a bit more conservative on what I absolutely need for the trip. Do I need an ARB bull bar and a winch on the front? Probably get away without. So we're not going to have one, I don't think. Do we need a roof rack and an awning? That probably would be a really good idea, although we could probably do without. But an awning would be really nice because it's going to be quite sunny, and whenever we stop, it'd be good for Mrs. Mechanic to be in the shade, because she can't really get back in the car with all the gear on, you know. But to park under the awning, much easier. So that might still happen. We might get the roof rack and the awning before the trip. The trailer. Do definitely need the trailer. That's a critical part of the equipment list. So I really need to start to plan the design and order the steel for that so I can crack on and build that trailer. So hopefully maybe this afternoon I can start to put pen to paper and do a fag packet design, get a few measurements and plan my attack. So we're on with it. But this time around, for this particular trip, we just can't afford to bling out the chimney with all the lovely snorkel and bull bar and winch and rock crawling bars down the side and an ARB bar at the back and a roof rack. And you know the thing. I've got to be sensible. Money's money, end of the day. Where do we get to? Jim Haynes, I was joking. Wuhan is where the virus lab is. Oh, you didn't find it. Funny. Thanks. Hopefully it won't be in the box. I'm a bit slow this morning, Jim. Roger Heaps, king size bed in the spare room now. More room for Marmite. Excellent. Oh, I do like king size beds. Mike Bazanski and bacon. Roger. Yeah. Biz, cider and bacon. Roger Heaps, always bacon, Mike. Simon Roll, here he is again. Has the chimney got a name yet? It has. Oh, you missed out on that, didn't you? The chimney is called Poodle. I know. Mrs. Mechanic named the car. That's fine. So the Jeep. That's fine. Now, the name originates from two aspects. Poodle was one of the characters in a UK children's series called The Flumps. I'm sure Simon can remember that. So if you Google Poodle Flump, you'll see a picture, and the colour of that character pretty much matches the Jeep. So that's one of the reasons why Mrs. Mechanic went for that name. But also, it is a Suzuki Jeep, and you don't really go anywhere fast in them. Sure, this is a bit more comfy and a bit quicker than the original Jeeps, but you still just tend to poodle about. That's an English verb, to poodle. I poodle, you poodle, she poodles, that kind of stuff. So it's called Poodle. I already have come up with a nickname for the Jeep, which Mrs. Mechanic isn't particularly happy about. Sounds very similar to Poodle, but I'm not allowed to mention it. So there you go. Still bound over on that one. Simon, I'm not that old. Oh, they must do reruns. Pete would find. I remember the Flumps. There you go. How do we get to talk about the Flumps on an automotive YouTube channel? It's bizarre how we get to that, isn't it? Sorry, Simon, I wasn't trying to imply that you're an OAP or anything like that, but I grew up with the Flumps. There you go. I'm not that old. I'm 50. Roger Heaps, breathing on the diffs be a good idea. They're low. Yes. Now, if I remember rightly, Suzuki have a spring-loaded breather system on them, where it's like a little metal cap, there's a spring and a little rubber seal. And whenever there is pressure in the axle due to heat, you know, thermal expansion and so on, the spring is pushed back and that pressure is allowed to be released to atmosphere. However, if vacuum builds up in the axle when you go through cold, you know, through a river or something, the axle cools down quickly. Therefore, the air inside the axle cools down as well. That creates a vacuum. That's when you get the water sucked into the diff oil and it all turns to custard, literally. But the vacuum, that little bung should remain sealed under vacuum. If anything, it should actually pull the seal in tighter and seal the axle off. It's not perfect, but it usually works pretty well. What we used to do on the little Suzuki Jeeps back in the UK, certainly on the earlier ones on the fleet, the ones that used to go off the Lake District, to the Yorkshire Dales and stuff, is we'd flick that metal cap off, get rid of the spring and the seal, and put a rubber hose all the way through up onto the bulkhead. Easy job, and yes, I can easily do that before the trip. There will be river crossings. My only concern is if we were to do a river crossing, and don't forget we've got a trailer on the back, which makes the river crossings far more treacherous, and the poor little poodle gets stuck in the river, that's when the winch will be critical, because then you need to get out, hook up a tree somewhere, and winch yourself out of the river. Otherwise, it could turn into a catastrophe. So that's where we have to be super careful, and where if I can wing it, we'll get a winch and a bull bar. But it all depends on finances. It really does. I don't know how we're going to wing that yet. I might have a plan. Bear with me. Now then, Roger Heaps, Breathers hasn't done that one. Pete Woodfine, I remember Andy Pandy as well. Yeah, I think I just about remember Andy Pandy. Pete Woodfine, and the Magic Round. I remember the Magic Roundabout. That was cool. There was a lot of undertones to the Magic Roundabout for adults as well. Don't remember what they are, but I remember there was something either on Facebook or there was a documentary on it or something a while ago. Simon, it's the randomness of the live stream. It is. Who knows where we're going to go next? What about taking a hand winch and a sling to go on a tree? That would be probably a good backup plan. I'd love to fit a winch. I would. I really like winches, and it means it's there for a purpose, right? But yes, good backup plan. Pete Neves, you want to add hoses to the vent to get them up high, like the real Jeeps. Yes, I think so. Dylan the Rabbit was always stoned. He was. Always. Probably the only guy that could actually legitimately turn up to work to do the voiceover stoned off his head and get away with it. Because, that's for the character, right? Okay, crew, I think we're about there. I've got a workshop to tidy up before we can do this dip painting, and then we've got to sweep the workshop out later on when we're finished. And it's going to be a short day. Might even go into Taupo this afternoon. Who knows? It's been a great live stream. An hour and 32 minutes. Almost bang on time as well. I think next Sunday, we'll give it a miss. So we'll go on to fortnightly live streams. So the next one will be in 2 weeks, Sunday, 8:30 a.m. So I will see you then. And who knows, I might even get a video done before then. Because next weekend, all we're doing is packing the plates up. So I should have Sunday free so I can do a bit of filming. That would be nice. Okay, guys. Thank you again for all your support. Really appreciate it. If you want to fire anything through towards the Poodle trip for Mrs. Mechanic on the little Honda Monkey, you can do that through PayPal. There's a link on the main page. Thank you again for those that have already supported the channel financially and for the various trips that we've done. Do very much appreciate it. It all helps, believe me. All right, chaps. I'll see you in 2 weeks. See you then. Cheers. Over and out.